On today's show, we are exploring the biggest LinkedIn updates that marketers need to know about, including LinkedIn's fastest growing content format. By the way, it's not newsletters, which has been the darling for the last couple of years. Also, a way to increase the reach of your newsletters, especially the ones that are moving people toward becoming clients and customers. And a new form of verification is rolling out on LinkedIn as well. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the boy wizard, host of the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, a Social Media Examiner production. We break down the latest social media news and what it means for marketers like you. Today, I'm joined by Michaela Alexis. Michaela is a LinkedIn marketing strategist who trains businesses on leveraging the power of LinkedIn. Her course is called Copywriting for Social Media. Michaela, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be back. I feel like it's been probably like a couple of years now.
Well, it's good to have you back. And we were talking before the show about how newsletters are so amazing on LinkedIn, but they are not the fastest growing format on LinkedIn. So, what is the
Mhm.
fastest growing format of content on LinkedIn?
Video right now, and I have been telling clients for such a long time that yes, LinkedIn videos definitely took a little bit of a break in terms of engagement and all of that stuff. It looks like LinkedIn kind of put it on the back burner, but they're back. They're back in a big way, and I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. And I know I'm going to be diving into more videos in the next couple of weeks because they're taking off.
Yeah, well, and they said it's a 34% year over year increase in video uploads, which is interesting. LinkedIn, of all the social networks, LinkedIn is sometimes vague about their statistics, I've
Mhm.
noticed. So it's like, okay, people are uploading them, but are they watching them? So with your clients that have started doing video, or for you, are you seeing an increase in the consumption as well?
There's definitely an increase in the consumption. I think that the biggest change in LinkedIn video and why people are getting so excited is that there's now a separate feed dedicated to video. This was something that LinkedIn has struggled with for a long time because
Hmm.
there are people that love video in general on every platform. And then there are people, and I have accounted them as somebody that has my own company page and my personal profile that are very much like, no, we need to keep LinkedIn as like a non social media platform. So they didn't like the fact that there were so many videos that were available. LinkedIn stories. I don't know if you remember LinkedIn stories. I think I was
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
the only fan of LinkedIn stories. I thought they were great, but I can understand that the news feed started to get really confusing and cluttered for a lot of people. So I think the fact that they have now created a dedicated feed where people can choose whether or not to consume video content is the best move that they could have made. And it's been really fun to watch more and more people be approved to post in that feed and creating videos that are very, dare I say, like TikTok and Instagram real like, and people embracing that.
Yeah, I am so excited. I still don't have the video tab in my app, and maybe
You
I'm
don't
not as
have
act.
it.
I don't have it, no. And maybe it's because I'm not as active on LinkedIn. Like YouTube is my primary platform, but I check every week. I'm like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? But this is one step up, right? The
It is.
algorithm is great about showing polls to people who like polls and long
Yes.
posts to people who like long posts and all of that. But now it's literally, hey, you want video? Here it is.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool opportunity. So I'm just waiting for my chance. I mean, I'm still uploading videos, but I'm waiting for that dedicated feed. So all right. By the way, we are talking, of course, about the latest here with LinkedIn. If you're looking for a competitive advantage, Social Media Marketing World is the place to go to learn all the latest marketing strategies. But this year, the conference is also going to feature something special. Our largest ever lineup of AI speakers. AI is changing our industry forever. When you attend, you're going to discover innovative ways to leverage AI to effortlessly create quality content in less time. I think Michaela called it cheating when we were talking before, right? Like
I
how
said it
easy
feels
it
a
is.
little illegal.
Yes, yes. Easily use data to make better decisions faster. Unlock your creativity for ideas on demand. This is the competitive advantage that you've been looking for. You can get your ticket today. Just go to socialmediamarketing.world. Again, socialmediamarketing.world. So, Michaela, you mentioned even as a small business, you have a company page,
I
and now there's
do.
a new feature coming to
Mhm.
company pages, and it's all about verification. So, update us on how this is working.
So LinkedIn offers verification badges for both. This is where people get a little confused. It's going to be for pages, but you can also have it for people. And when you are verified as a company page, the members that are associated with that page, so the employees, will also receive that verification. I think that this is not a surprising move. I was really surprised that the profile verification took so long, only because LinkedIn has always had this reputation as a social media platform of being the safest, the most secure.
Mm.
They're owned by Microsoft. So they were kind of put on a different level than other social media platforms were, even in terms of security. And there was this influx, and there still is, of scams and spams and all of the things. And people were getting really disgruntled. It was really tarnishing the brand itself. And so LinkedIn introduced profile verifications. And I think that this is the best move that they could have made in terms of um, restoring trust in users, because a lot of issues that especially job seekers have is that they are getting interviews with companies that aren't real companies, or representatives that aren't real representatives. And so this
Yeah.
verification process is fantastic way to keep the members of the platform safe. So this might not be like the sexiest update on LinkedIn, but it certainly is going to be the most useful in terms of making sure that people are safe.
And if I'm understanding this correctly, they're not charging for this,
No,
right? This is
no.
not like Meta Verified and some of those other ones.
No, I'm going through
Okay.
the process right now. I'm hoping that my company page will be verified. I don't know if it will be because I have such a generic name for mine, so it might be kind of like maybe not. But that's fine because I'm also not hiring, so it's not a big deal. But I think for those, especially like the small businesses, the bigger organizations that use LinkedIn primarily for sharing company culture and hiring, this is going to be so helpful to make sure that you're finding the right candidates.
And so if somebody basically says, and I would think an entrepreneur could do this for their own company too, like you're talking about, if somebody verifies they work for a company, usually through your company email address, right? That's
Yeah.
at least no, that's the way they used to do it.
Yep.
Then you'll get a check mark automatically as well if you're an employee of that company.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very
And it's
cool.
actually
Okay.
changed quite a bit, because I know here in Canada, originally with the profile verification system, yes, it was, first of all, like people from large organizations. It was also limited to people within the United States for a very long time. I only got it pretty recently. I want to say a few months ago. I can't remember how I got verified. I think it was through like sending in like a piece of ID or something like that.
Hmm.
But they are making it so that it's easy to be verified if you are the correct person. Do we have time for a very quick story about
Yeah, yeah.
verification?
I, I
So
love a good story.
I just came across something, and this just shows how important all of this is. I had a fake speaker engagement email come through into my inbox, and I didn't know that it was fake. I've never seen anything like that. I am pretty on top of things. I mean, I do social media for a living, and it wasn't until I did a reverse image search on the members of the organization on the company page, and it took me to somebody's LinkedIn profile. Now, back in the day, if someone wasn't verified, I would be like, well, maybe it's this person, or maybe it's the person on LinkedIn, but I wouldn't know who the correct real person was, what their actual
Yeah.
name was. Because of the verification process, I knew that the name on the fake website wasn't actually the real name of the person. I was able to reach out to them, and they were able to prevent me from sending my banking information. So that's
Oh,
how important verification is on LinkedIn.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
LinkedIn has definitely come a long way since it was the place that people dumped their resumes, which is great for us as marketers. And that's meant an increase in engagement, which is also great for us as marketers. But sometimes it's gotten a little messy. So I love this next update. LinkedIn is making it a little bit easier to keep track of the engagement that you have going on. So tell us about this, Michaela.
The one that I love the most is reply tracking. I think we can all attest to the fact that LinkedIn does get a little bit messy, and it's hard to organize replies, comments, all of those things. So now you're going to be able to track specific comments to different replies. And this is just going to create a better flow. It's going to look very similar. I looked at the screenshot of it. It's going to look very similar to if anybody is used to using Reddit. If you
Hmm.
are looking at a Reddit thread, it's very similar in terms of the process of just being able to click on something and open up all the replies for that specific comment. So I'm really excited about that one.
Well, and especially for any brand that gets a lot of engagement, it makes it much, much simpler. And I think when the algorithm started showing the most popular comments first
Oh
by
gosh.
default, that's when it
Yeah.
got confusing, right? We're like, wait, have I
Yeah,
seen
even as
this or not?
even for myself as like a creator, and I'm not as big as like some of these huge organizations, but I would go on and I like to organize everything by time so that I'm making sure that I'm replying to the first comments rather
Hmm.
than the most popular ones first.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit confusing, but yeah, I think that, and especially for like you're saying, those big, big, big creators or those big organizations, it's just going to look a lot cleaner in the feed. You're not going to see a long laundry list of comments. You're going to see this like nice, like just, nice comment thread that you can pop open each comment to see the replies. So I think just it's going to look a lot cleaner. And it's going to
Yeah.
make it a lot easier to like engage with people in the comment thread.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they brought this to the newsletters and articles too, because sometimes those get a lot of those. So, speaking
That's
of
big. Yeah.
newsletters, sponsored newsletters and articles are now rolling out. So, what are the specifics on this? Because obviously, if you have something that's performing well, this is a great way to speed up that buyer journey.
Yeah, I was really curious about this one because I'm like, I am such a purist when it comes to LinkedIn that I'm very much like, I love organic, I love free marketing, and I also really, really love newsletters. And so my main concern was, what does it mean by sponsored? Does it mean that you are going to show up in people's inboxes? Like that was the first thing that popped in my head
Mm,
because one of the benefits of using newsletters is that you go directly into your subscribers' inbox off of LinkedIn, which is great if people are not super active on the platform. Now, it looks like from the screenshots that you can sponsor a newsletter and it just shows up in people's feeds. So I love that. I think it's a great way to get more subscribers to your newsletter. It also only works to support the brand awareness and engagement campaign objectives. So you can't use a sponsored newsletter to like, you open it up and it's like a pop up saying like buy now. You can't use it for
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I like the fact that they are maintaining the integrity of the format because I think it's such a perfect format for LinkedIn. And I really like this because it forces companies to be creative, not just like post an ad, but also to create content that is helpful enough that the person wants to click on it and learn more about your business and subscribe to your newsletter. So to me, this looks like a win win.
Well, and even if it is only, those awareness and engagement campaign objectives, like to me, that's where it starts. But I was thinking about the social proof that you could build up by getting in front of more people. And
100%. Yep.
yeah, what do we do when we read an interesting article or we wonder if other people think what we do? Well, we go to the comments. Well, down in the comments is where you can obviously start nurturing people forward to some of those later phases in the buyer journey. So,
Absolutely.
really a
This
cool
is definitely
opportunity.
a relationship building ad format, which is really interesting. I haven't seen like this great combination of kind of like organic and paid into one format. So that's really interesting. I also noticed that they said member authored newsletter articles can't be sponsored, but this capacity will be available in a future release, which is really exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just company pages right now,
Right
right?
now,
Their
it's just
newsletters. Yeah,
company
yeah.
pages and their newsletters, but it looks like in the future, if you have a newsletter as a personal profile, you'll also be able to sponsor that content.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'll have to watch for a sponsored newsletter in my feed. I don't think I've seen anything
I haven't
with
seen
that
it yet
yet.
either, and I'm very curious. I want to make sure that it still looks good and it still maintains that integrity.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And another update with ads, one of the biggest barriers for advertising on any platform, but especially LinkedIn, I think for a lot of marketers is it feels very heavy to get into it. So I like that LinkedIn is using what they call their automated accelerate campaigns are now rolling out to all brands, which is basically an easier way to get advertising. And that's kind of my interpretation from it. Is that kind of what you're seeing with this too? What can you tell us
Yeah.
about these accelerate
Yeah.
campaigns?
I don't know a ton about the Accelerate campaigns other than it is geared more towards, like you're saying, beginners. It's geared more towards entrepreneurs, people like me. And I think that's where LinkedIn is trying to head. They're trying to create this kind of win-win situation for both large organizations on LinkedIn that have these massive budgets, that have, a dedicated person in-house that can work on the LinkedIn ads, but also people that are running small businesses, entrepreneurs like me, even medium-sized businesses that don't necessarily have that in-house talent and have to outsource
Mhm.
it. I kind of equate it to, like, how Canva is like the software for non-graphic designers. Accelerate
Yes.
seems to be the ad format for, or the ad program for non-LinkedIn ads experts. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And unlike several years back, I mean, I remember when I worked at an agency years ago, Facebook was introducing something that was, to make it easier. And it was like, would you like us to find the best audience for you? And now in
Mhm.
2024, we've seen that, AI and the algorithms can do a really good job. In fact, even better sometimes than our own, like as a marketer, what we would choose for interest based targeting. Um,
Mhm.
but back then, I mean, I remember we had it was a plastic surgery client, and we were doing a campaign about positive body image, and Facebook was like, "Do you want us to find the audience?" We're like, "Sure, let's test this out."
Mhm.
And boy, it found a lot of men who were very blunt about what they wanted to say, and I mean, it got a ton of reach
Mhm.
and a ton of engagement, but it was totally not
Not the right
what we
one.
were going
Mhm.
for. So,
Mhm.
I'm always a little skeptical about these things, but I do know, and especially with what I've seen on the meta side, that it's these AI tools are so good at finding the right people now. So
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think that sometimes we forget that, again, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, and the
Mhm.
amount of money and energy and effort that they are putting into these AI tools, I
Mhm.
really think that they are top notch. So I wouldn't be worried about trying out Accelerate. I think for most people, it's kind of an intimidating thing starting with ads on LinkedIn. I know AJ Wilcox, he is always so great about talking about testing ad formats on other platforms that are not as pricey, and then going onto
Mhm.
LinkedIn, which is one of my favorite strategies to tell my clients. But I think Accelerate's
Mm.
going to make it a lot easier for a lot of people, and hopefully it is relevant. I think there's a lot more data available on LinkedIn than other platforms in terms of where people work, how long they've worked at different places, what they're looking at, what they care about, all of that stuff. So I think that it could end up being a really great program.
Are you implying that people haven't accurately updated their Facebook profiles in many, many years? Is that what I'm hearing here?
I am constantly shocked. I go on so many people's or Facebook profiles, and the amount of people that still have the high school that they went to, because that's when you started. I mean, I'm aging myself right now, but I started on Facebook, and I was still in university, and so I only had my high school as my
Yeah.
education. So I
Yeah.
certainly am one of those people that have not updated. And LinkedIn, or yeah, LinkedIn is constantly kind of like poking you, pressuring you to be like, hey, is this still relevant? Hey, they're like that friend that's like, you should really be doing this right now. So
Exactly. Exactly.
a
Yeah.
lot of people are optimizing their LinkedIn profiles, and there are just so many resources to be able to do it. Not to
Yeah.
plug myself, but I do courses on that.
Well, and for people that aren't updating them, they're not there anyway, so they're not going
Right,
to get served your ad. So I think you're right.
exactly.
The targeting for certain industries so much better on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. So, well, quick reminder, learn about an all access ticket to come to Social Media Marketing World today. Go to socialmediamarketing.world, socialmediamarketing.world. And Michaela, where's the best place to discover more about you?
Uh, Definitely not Facebook. Definitely on LinkedIn. You can find me. Just look up my name, Michaela. It's just Michael with an A, Alexis. Or you can follow my company page. It's LinkedIn Training for Brands, Businesses, and Ambitious People, and it's got a little pink logo. And that's where I share all of my newsletters and all of my free LinkedIn resources and training.
Very nice. And if you want to add another podcast to your listening lineup, we have one for you to check out, the Social Media Marketing Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, may you be wise with your marketing decisions. Thanks, everyone. Bye.